Now that you have identified your research topic, your single research topic, then we proceed with the next step. Let's work on a scenario. Say your Venn diagram intersects with the topic of mental health. It's a very hip topic nowadays, even if the word hip is not hip anymore. So our research topic is mental health. This is our hypothetical general topic. Let's start very simply with that. As there are trillions of health-related topics about mental health, the next question is, what exactly about mental health do we want to do research on? Let's say that we have observed that TikTok use has been exploding and news articles have clickbait headlines saying TikTok is dooming the mental health of children and even adults. And now this phenomenon is what you specifically want to investigate. Is TikTok use related to mental health issues? See that we are talking about TikTok, but still in the general context of our main topic, which is mental health. Now we are progressing with our research. Our topic is on mental health, but now we have a research problem. What is the association of mental health issues and TikTok use? Why do you need to identify the research problem given your topic? The research problem, or in some cases, the research statement, proposes the general direction of your study. It is also a way of being specific about what you want to research. It is similar to a research statement. And finally, the research problem focuses your topic into a more specific direction. Now, what is a research question? It is just the interrogative form of the research problem or statement. But what it does is that it reframes the problem, focuses on the important concepts, and most importantly, it lets you know that you really do know the relationship between the concepts that you want to study. Rewording your research problem into a research question is like a cognitive exercise to test if you really did understand what you want to do. From our scenario, we are concerned with mental health and TikTok. I've now written down two versions of how I could write down the interrogative form of the research problem on screen. Which of the two research questions do you think is better? We'll talk about that later, but first, let's talk about the criteria of a good research question. Using a research problem, the association of mental health issues and TikTok use. The often used criteria in determining the quality of a research question is the acronym FINE or FINER, or sometimes FINEST. Now, FINER stands for feasible, interesting, novel, ethical, and relevant. Of course, this is just a convenient acronym, but in fact, there are a lot of overlaps and ambiguity across this criteria. In fact, I would caution you that this criteria should be guided by your personal circumstances as well as the environment in which your research will belong to, as different circumstances or externalities will have different finer answers to even the same questions. Nonetheless, let's discuss each criteria in depth one by one. The first criteria, feasible, refers to the doability of the research problem. It answers the question, can this research even be done? The considerations for this criterion include the probability in the known universe that your research question can realistically be answered given a reasonable environment. Let's take a look at the underlying sample research problem on screen. Well, at least for us in the medical field, we can study mental health. But are we really capable of studying dinosaur fossils? Yes, research on this problem can be done by doctor and archaeologists like Indiana Jones. But can you do it? This criterion also takes into consideration the research team's inherent limitations, such as, say it with me, funding. Another consideration is, of course, safety, which should have some overlaps with the E in finer, and I'll talk about this more later. From our hypothetical case, the guide question will be, Is a research study on association of mental health issues and TikTok use even possible? Realistically speaking, you can get patients, even use public domain databases if available, and also realistically survey people on both mental health and TikTok use. So, feasibility for our case is a yes. The next criterion is I, interesting. You can ask yourself, if I finish this study, would anyone even care? This anyone includes your peers, your patients, your social circles, the media, or just even yourself. Now let's go back to our sham research problem. Would anyone really care about mental health bones from 10 million years ago? As I'm sure you can imagine, this criterion needs some knowledge on the topic as well as a little bit of humility. So going back to our hypothetical case, is the association of mental health issues and TikTok use interesting? Now, I would argue yes, probably. Mental health has been a very high demand topic, especially in the medical field, particularly among the younger medical professionals. The third criterion is novelty, or does my study contribute new knowledge to the field? This criterion is the uniqueness of the research question. Our counterexample here actually looks like a novel or unique research problem. I would challenge anyone to show a legitimate study on the association between mental health and dinosaur fossils. But if we take a look at our case, there have been a lot of studies on mental health and social media use, including TikTok. Should we then not consider our research question anymore? My take on this is that there are ways down the line of the research process wherein you can still do a novel research even with a non-novel research question. You can vary the population group or study a specific subpopulation. You can take a look at different ways of diagnosing mental health issues or different ways of recording TikTok use. Another counter argument for this criterion is the valid scientific question, shouldn't research be replicable? And yes, real scientific information should be replicable. So I would even argue that in most cases, there is really nothing wrong with answering the same research question using the same methodology as another independent research. But of course, that is my own opinion. And if we take out N in finer, the acronym wouldn't really make much sense. The next criterion is E, ethical. The guide question, is my study ethical? Revolves around the three core principles of research ethics. Respect for person, where things like human dignity, informed consent, and person autonomy is very important. Principle of beneficence, where the benefits of the study should always outweigh potential risk. This is partly the overlap of the safety issue I mentioned in the feasible criterion, but the safety concern there is more for the researchers, while for this one, it is more towards possible harms for the participants. And the third principle is the principle of justice, where fairness of treatment as well as patient privacy is the main concern. This criterion has a lot in common with the Rotary International four-way test, but I'll just let you Google those. Now, for some studies, particularly those not dealing with human participants, they can pass this test quite easily. But if you're going to be interacting with human respondents, for example, the mental health part of our counterexample, then you have to be very clear on the ethics of your research question. So is our case on mental health and TikTok use ethical? Well, if we can ensure that all participants are informed properly and fairly, their privacy respected, and the results would help in policymaking or even better patient outcomes, then we can justify our study to be ethical. We'll be talking about research ethics in more detail in future lectures, so take this section as a short introduction. The last criterion is R, relevant. You should always ask yourself, are the results of my study going to be significant? And we're not talking about statistical significance yet, but more like, would it provide utility to the greater community? In short, you should ask yourself, would my research make the world a little bit better? Would a study between mental health and dinosaur fossils benefit the world? It is very hard to argue. While studies on mental health or dinosaur fossils provide useful information for either topic, defending a study on their association might be a little bit difficult to sell. Of course, this criterion can prove to be tricky, especially when you are reviewing the relevance of other studies. What is relevant to you might not be relevant to others, and vice versa. But a general and realistic grasp of the social environment can help you answer this question. More specifically, if your topic selection had been more systematic, like what we've discussed earlier on selecting topics identified to be what is needed in the world or what is needed in your country, then you can safely say that your research question is relevant. Our case study research question is very, very relevant, particularly in today's climate. Both mental health and TikTok use, as well as queries on the interactions of each to one another, are culturally quote unquote in, so our research question passes this criterion. Now that we've analyzed the finer criteria of our research problem, which of the two wordings on screen of the research question better reflects our research problem? Now think about it first. I would argue that number two is better in that it more clearly defines that you are only looking for the truth about the relationship between TikTok use and mental health disease, and you have no presuppositions up front. The first one already assumes the causality between TikTok use and health issues, which at the onset shows some bias on our part as a researcher. This is something very common in a lot of researchers. Now, they use the research method to argue their already made up mind. Remember, as researchers, we want to find the truth, the answer to an unknown, and not find already established truths that only supports our views. This is officially not part of the finer criteria, but if you find your research question starting with why, I would like to urge you to rethink your research problem. In practice, we can be systematic about how to write our research question. We need to do this because our research question will guide us with our last topic for this lecture, the research objectives. In order to formalize how to write our research question, we can use the often cited PICO framework. P is for population or patient or the group of people for who we want to generalize the results of our study for or from. I is for intervention or exposure, or the test or treatment that we want to study. C is for comparison group or the other group that we want to compare our population to, which is our P. Take note that some studies, such as descriptive or qualitative studies, do not need a comparison group. Hence, C is optional. O is the outcome of the intervention or exposure that we want to measure, such as mortality rates, effectivity, etc. There are variations of the PICO framework depending on the certain characteristics of the research question. These include the PICOT, where the T stands for time frame of the research question, and PCOM, where M stands for the specific study design. But in any case, we need to ensure that we are able to identify at least the PIO of our research problem and that we can construct a proper research question containing these elements. Going back to our research question, what is the relationship between TikTok usage and diagnosed mental health disease? We can now identify the elements using the PICO framework. The population is not specified, so we can assume that we are talking about the general population. If we want to go specific population groups, then we can identify specific populations here as our P. The intervention here is TikTok use. You can actually argue that the intervention or exposure is mental health disease. But since we are not talking about causation yet, it really doesn't matter at this point. There is no comparison group here since we only want to study one population of people, which includes those with or without mental health disease, as well as those with varying TikTok use. And finally, assuming we are okay putting TikTok use as the intervention, then the outcome is being diagnosed with mental health disease. Again, if we put mental health disease as the intervention, then we have to put TikTok usage here as the outcome. So our research question follows the PICO framework, specifically the PIO framework. But is this the best we can do? There seems to be some ambiguity left, like, can we really study the entire population? Wouldn't that hit the feasibility of our research question? What exactly does TikTok use mean? Using TikTok 24 hours a day or even just 1 minute a day? What do you mean mental health disease? All of the mental health diseases? Of course, we can improve on our research question by limiting or defining our PICO elements further. Now you can try it out. How can you improve on your crafted research question? In practice, it is rare that the research question is asked for, but its utility is to guide us into crafting well-written research objectives.